entering the quiet workshop. Night has settled gently over the world outside. The day has gone quiet. The busy sounds have faded away. Here, a small warm room waits in the stillness. A narrow door opens to a soft pool of lamplight. You step inside, and the night feels a little farther away. The air is calm in this quiet workshop. The light is low and golden, not bright, not harsh, just easy on the eyes. Shadows rest in the corners, soft and harmless. Everything feels unhurried here. A single lamp glows over a sturdy wooden table. The light falls in a gentle circle, touching paper, tools, and thread. The wood of the table is smooth with years of use. It carries the memory of many quiet evenings like this one. The scent of the room is simple and comforting. Dry paper, a hint of clean glue, a trace of leather, and old ink. Nothing sharp, nothing strong. Just a soft, familiar smell that feels steady and safe. Outside these walls, the world is drifting into sleep. Distant streets are empty, windows dark, voices gone. Here, those muffled silences wrap around the walls like a blanket. Inside, everything slows down. You can feel your own pace beginning to match this quiet place. Breath by breath, the body understands it can soften. Shoulders can drop. The jaw can loosen. The muscles of the face can rest. The night is kind in this room. It asks for nothing from you. No tasks, no rush, no choices. Only presence, only gentle awareness. In the middle of the table lies a small stack of blank pages. They wait calmly, pale and smooth, edges neatly aligned. Beside them rests a folded piece of cloth, a bone folder, and a little brush for glue. Nothing is in a hurry. The sounds in here are very small and very gentle. A faint creak from the old floorboards as you shift your weight. A quiet rustle as a page is moved. Far away, maybe the softest whisper of wind against a window. Each tiny sound arrives and then dissolves back into the hush. Nothing startles. Nothing breaks the calm. Silence and sound move together like slow breathing. You breathe in the faint scent of paper and glue. The air feels cool, but the lamp gives just enough warmth. The skin on your hands and face can sense it. A soft balance between cool night and gentle light. In this workshop, time feels wide and open. There are no clocks that matter, no deadlines, no alarms waiting to ring. Just the slow rhythm of your own breath, the quiet weight of sleep drawing nearer. Notice how simple this moment is. A room, a table, soft light and the comfort of old wooden shelves lining the walls. Books, finished and unfinished, resting and breathing in the dark. Some of the books are new and smooth. Some are worn and gently frayed at the edges. Their spines curve like relaxed backs. They lean against each other, keeping easy company in the dim light. The presence of these books feels peaceful. Stories and thoughts, all safely held between their covers. They do not need to be opened tonight. It is enough just to know they are here. You are here as well, held by the same quiet. Your body can begin to mirror the stillness of the bindings on the shelves. Steady, supported, safe in its place. Nothing pulling, nothing pushing. Now the breath can slow a little more. In through the nose, soft and gentle. Out through the mouth, even softer. Like a tide that has reached the shore and begun to settle. With each exhale, the workshop seems to grow even quieter. The lamp hums in its own silence. The air feels heavier with rest. Thoughts can loosen their grip, like threads sliding free. You might imagine sitting at the table, hands resting loosely, fingers relaxed. There is a blank book waiting to be bound, or perhaps one already finished. The choice does not matter. What matters is the feeling of calm work done slowly, with care, with no pressure at all. Maybe you imagine running a fingertip along the edge of the pages. They are smooth and cool and neatly stacked. The soft rasp of paper under the finger is almost like a whisper. It invites you to move slowly, gently, without effort. Every movement here is unhurried. If a book needs to be lifted, it is lifted with ease. If a cover needs to be closed, it closes with a quiet, padded sound. A low, comforting thump that fades into the air. The glow from the lamp touches the top of your hands. You can picture that soft warmth, a small circle of light against the deeper night around it. Everything outside that circle is peaceful shadow, safe, surrounding, like a nest of quiet. Notice how the mind begins to quiet when the space around you is simple. No bright flashes, no loud noises, no sharp edges. Just wood and paper and cloth and thread. Honest, ordinary things, resting together. Your breathing continues to ease. The chest rises and falls in a slow wave. The belly softens with each breath out. The back feels more supported, more at home. If any thoughts appear, they can float at the edge of this workshop. They do not need to come inside. They can stay outside the door, in the fading night streets, far away from this glow. In here, your only task is to be at ease. The workshop itself seems to breathe with you. When you inhale, the space feels a little fuller, as if the walls expand a little. When you exhale, everything subtly relaxes, like a deep sigh. The whole room is in harmony with your resting body. You may picture the door closed now. A simple wooden door, shut gently, with a soft click that barely makes a sound. That door keeps out the hurried world, the bright lights, the noise. Inside, the night is yours. Shelves stand patient along the walls, full of tools in their places. Spools of thread, small jars, neatly stacked sheets. Each thing has a home, and each thing is resting now, just as you are. Order and calm are built into this room. Every detail here supports quiet. The worn handle of a drawer that moves smoothly. The soft edge of a cushion on a simple chair. The way the lamp's light pulls only where it is needed and nowhere else. You might imagine the tiniest movements of a gentle craft. A brush lightly dipped into glue. A line slowly drawn along the spine of a book. Following that line with full attention, free of worry, free of strain. In this place, even the idea of work is calming. Nothing is urgent, nothing is judged. Each step, no matter how small, is enough. As the body settles deeper, the mind can rest in these plain, kind images. Paper stacked, waiting. Covers folded, ready. Threads lying quiet, like little paths that will one day hold pages together. But that will be another time. Tonight is not for finishing. Tonight is for sinking into the safety of this room, for feeling how deeply the silence holds you. Breath continues, slow and steady. The night outside has become a distant thing now. In here, only this warm circle of light and darkness exists. Nothing else is needed. Let your awareness drift gently over the room once more. From the shelves, to the table, to the lamp, to your own resting body. Everything belongs here. Everything is in its right place. You are part of this quiet order, set down softly among simple, peaceful things. The workshop grows quieter still. Thoughts thin out like mist. The air feels thick with calm. Sleep waits just beyond the edges of awareness, patient and kind. For now, you rest in this small, warm space. held by lamplight, surrounded by the soft smell of paper and glue, breathing with the room, with the night, drifting slowly, easily into deeper stillness. Evening has settled over the streets like a soft, warm blanket. The light is fading, but not all at once. A gentle blue lingers in the sky, and the last colours of the day are slowly slipping away. The air outside is cool against the skin. It carries the faintest trace of stone and dust, a hint of leaves, maybe a touch of chimney smoke from somewhere far off. The day is still out here, but it is quieter now, as if even the city or the village has begun to exhale. Far away, the world continues in a muffled way. Distant footsteps on cobblestones, a cartwheel turning, a door closing softly somewhere down the street. Voices, but only as a gentle hum, too far to make out any words. All of it blends into a soft background, a distant, harmless murmur. Nothing sharp, nothing urgent, nothing that needs attention. Just the faint reminder that life goes on, out there, while here. Things are about to grow very still. Before you stands the bookbinder's workshop, small, familiar, and quietly waiting. The windows are dark except for a single, warm glow from somewhere deep inside. The sign above the door hangs at a slight angle, swaying just a little in the gentle evening air. The wooden door is old, but cared for. The grain of the wood has been smoothed by years of hands passing over it. Paint has faded along the edges, and the surface holds tiny marks and stories from other nights, other arrivals just like this one. You stand close enough now to feel a slight difference in the air near the door. Out here, it is open, cool, and moving. Soon, on the other side, it will be warm and still, like breathing in a quiet memory. In your hand, the old key waits. It feels solid and familiar, its edges rounded from long use. Metal cooled by the evening, resting in your palm, carrying with it the promise of shelter and calm. Your fingers find the shape of the key without needing to look. The small notch near the end, the smooth circle where the thumb has pressed again and again over the years. It is an old friend, steady and dependable. You raise your hand toward the lock. The sound of the distant street softens behind you. In front of you, there is just the key, the door, and the quiet expectation of stepping inside. The key slips into the lock with a soft, familiar resistance. Not stiff, not difficult. Just enough to remind you that this is a real, solid place, and that this moment belongs only to you. You turn the key slowly. Metal against metal makes a gentle, muted click. Another tiny turn, and the tumblers fall into place with a quiet, satisfying sound, like a puzzle piece fitting exactly where it belongs. The lock releases. The door gives the faintest shiver in its frame, recognizing the touch. The key rests now, turned and still, its small task done. You curl your fingers around the doorknob. It is worn smooth from many evenings just like this. The metal is cool, but not cold, shaped perfectly to sit in your palm. You can feel the softness of age in it, the way something feels after being held and trusted for a long, long time. For a small moment, you simply pause there. One hand on the doorknob, body still, breath calm and gentle, outside world behind you, waiting on the other side of your shoulders. You can notice how the cool air touches the skin of your cheeks, your hands, your neck, how the sounds outside come and go in soft waves, how, right here at the threshold, nothing is rushing you. Time seems to slow and then slow again. With an easy, unhurried motion, you begin to turn the knob. It moves without protest, a smooth, practiced arc. The metal glides under your fingers, following the same curve it has followed 1,000 times, always leading to the same quiet place. As the latch pulls back, the door loosens. You feel the gentle give of the wood, the soft shift of weight. The faintest creak begins, almost too quiet to hear at first, like the door is stretching after a long, peaceful rest. You ease the door inward. The creak grows a little, still soft, still comforting. It is not a harsh sound. It is the slow, familiar sigh of old hinges that have opened and closed to welcome many quiet evenings. A thin slice of warm air slips past the edge of the door and brushes against you. It is different from the world outside. Inside, the air is warmer, softer, and carries the faint, comforting scent of paper and cloth and aged leather. You open the door a little wider, just enough to feel the full breath of the room wash gently over you. It smells like the inside of a beloved book, dry paper, hints of glue and thread, a whisper of dust that has settled peacefully over shelves and stacks. Along with the scent comes a deeper stillness. You can sense, without even stepping in yet, that it is quiet inside, the kind of quiet that holds, that lingers, that wraps itself around every object and every corner. Somewhere deeper in the workshop, a single lamp glows, casting a soft, golden light across the floor. It doesn't push back every shadow. It doesn't need to. It simply pools warmly in one place, leaving the rest of the room in gentle, restful dimness. The last sounds from outside brush against your back as the door opens further. A fading voice, the soft roll of a carriage wheel. Then, almost like someone slowly turning down the volume, those sounds slip away, becoming more distant with each heartbeat. You cross the threshold with one slow, easy step. Your foot finds the familiar floorboards inside, solid and steady beneath you. They hold the warmth of the room, a subtle difference from the cool stone or earth outside. As you move fully inside, your body seems to understand before your mind does. Shoulders loosen, jaw softens. The small automatic tensions you carried through the day begin to gently untie themselves. Behind you, the door waits, still slightly open. Cool air from outside brushes past you one last time, mixing briefly with the warm, papery breath of the workshop. Then, with calm, unhurried care, you bring the door toward its frame. The wood meets wood with a quiet, padded sound. The latch slips back into place with a soft, final click. That single sound marks the line between out there and in here, between the demands of the day and the ease of the sheltered night. The distant world is now completely closed off. Its noise is nothing more than a faint memory, drifting somewhere far beyond these walls. Here, inside, everything is slower, deeper, softer. The workshop holds you in its gentle embrace. Rows of books, some finished and some waiting, line the shadows. Stacks of paper rest in patient piles, edges neat and calm. Threads, tools, and ribbons sleep quietly at their places. The lamplight creates a warm island of glow on the work table. Its light drifts outward, touching nearby shelves and bindings with a tender golden brush. It does not rush. It simply exists, a steady, peaceful presence. Breathing here feels different. Each inhale draws in the calm scent of paper and leather, starch and glue. Each exhale seems to carry away a little more of the day, a little more of whatever you no longer need to hold. Nothing is required now. No tasks, no decisions, no effort at all. The workshop asks nothing from you, except that you be here, exactly as you are, in this quiet moment. You can stand or sit, or simply pause in the soft half-light, letting your body find the most comfortable shape. The air is warm enough to loosen any lingering chill from outside. The floor beneath you is firm, steady, reliable. Somewhere in the room, a piece of wood shifts slightly as it settles. A tiny crack of sound, then stillness again. The lamp hums so faintly, it's almost not a sound at all, more a feeling of gentle presence. The day has been left outside the door. Its pace, its noise, its demands. They all remain on the other side of that wooden barrier, growing fainter and fainter, like a story that has reached its final page. Here, inside the bookbinder's quiet world, time moves differently. Each moment stretches out a little longer, giving you space to breathe a little deeper, to feel a little lighter, to rest a little more. The evening door has closed softly behind you. Warm, papery air surrounds you. Soft light and deep shadows hold you. And in this safe, quiet place, the night begins to settle in, slowly, gently, like a comforting hand resting over your own, and then growing wonderfully, peacefully still. The room is already quiet, soft, deep, and still. The air feels cool against the skin at the edges, yet there is a promise of warmth nearby, waiting to be revealed. Shadows rest against the walls, gentle and patient, holding their breath in the dimness. In front of you, the desk lamp waits, simple, familiar. Its curved neck and small shade are barely a silhouette in the low light, outlined only by the faintest hint of evening seeping through the window. Your hand moves slowly, without hurry. Fingers find the cool metal of the switch. It is a small movement, easy and effortless, as natural as an exhale. A soft click, neat and quiet. The kind of sound that marks the start of something small and comforting. Then the light blooms, not suddenly, not harsh, just a slow, warm unfolding. A golden circle spreading outwards from the lamp, like a quiet breath expanding. The glow gathers first around the base of the lamp. It catches the smooth curve of the metal, a muted shine that never startles. The light is gentle as it spills over the workbench, laying itself tenderly across the wood. The grain of the wooden table wakes up under the lamplight. Lines and swirls soften and deepen. Warm tones rise to the surface, honey and amber, as if the wood itself has its own quiet pulse. Notice how the light settles into the tiny grooves in the wood. Every mark and little scratch from years of use is softened now. Nothing looks worn here. Everything simply looks lived in, cared for, and at ease. The circle of light pulls outwards, then slows, as if it has found exactly where it wants to rest. Around you, beyond that golden ring, the room fades into gentle shadow again. The shelves, the walls, the far corners all retreat just a little, kind and distant. In this warm pool of lamplight, time seems to loosen. Moments stretch softly, like a comfortable blanket being smoothed over tired shoulders. Breathing finds an easy rhythm, slow and unforced. Books stand in quiet rows at the edge of the glow. Their leather covers drink in the light, turning the surface of each spine into something soft and deep. Some covers are smooth and even, others are slightly pebbled or textured, but under this gentle lamp they all seem to share the same calm warmth. The light brushes over the edges of pages stacked nearby. It rests on the creamy paper, not bright, just enough to let the delicate fibers show, almost like the surface of calm water. Shadows pool between the stacks, but they do not intrude. They only frame the glow, making it feel even more like a nest. On the workbench, small tools lie quietly where they were last set down. A slender awl catches a line of light along its metal point, turning it from something sharp into something simply precise and peaceful. A pair of scissors rests half open, the curved blades outlined in pale gold. The lamplight glides along each piece of metal, not shining hard, just a quiet shimmer, moving softly along their edges, like moonlight along a slow river. Where the light fades, shadow takes over, smooth and velvety, making everything look rounded and safe. A spool of thread waits near the lamp. The tiny strands glow in the warmth, each turn of the thread softened into a gentle halo of color. The end of the thread trails across the wood, and where the light touches it, it gleams faintly, like a small path leading nowhere in particular and needing no destination. Leather-bound journals rest beside it, their covers turned towards the lamp. The warm glow finds every crease and curve in the leather, every tiny fold where hands have held them. Some areas shine a little more where fingers once brushed often, polished by years of quiet touch. Under this light, those marks feel like memories, calm and settled. Take in the way the light moves, even though the lamp is still. As your gaze shifts slowly from one thing to another, the glow seems to follow, flowing from tool to thread to book. Nothing demands attention. It is all just there, ready, whenever your mind gently wanders to it. Outside the golden circle, the rest of the workshop becomes softer and softer. The tool shelves fade into a deep, restful blur. Corners that might seem dark in daytime now feel like soft cushions of shadow, far away and unimportant. Here, in this pool of lamplight, the world narrows in the best possible way. Only what is close truly exists. The table, the pages, the tools, the easy breath moving in and out. Everything else can drift to the edges, fading further into the background with every slow exhale. Notice how the glow makes the air itself feel thicker and gentler. It is almost as though the light has weight, a very soft weight, like the lightest blanket. It settles over your hands, your arms, your shoulders, encouraging each muscle to loosen, to soften, to let go. The lamp hums quietly, not in sound, but in presence, steady, faithful. It does only one thing, and it does it so calmly. It keeps this small circle warm and bright enough to feel safe and dim enough to invite rest. Your eyes can wander easily. They might trace the line where the circle of lamplight ends, where brightness falls away into deep shadow. The border is not sharp. It is a slow blending, gold dissolving into a soft, dusky grey. As you follow that gentle edge, thoughts may begin to untangle. Ideas, memories, little worries that once felt close start to slip away into the darker edges of the room, where they lose their shape and their urgency. The further they drift, the softer they become. The shadows here are not cold. They are like quiet company in another room, content to keep their distance. They stay where they are, hugging the walls and corners, leaving you wrapped in the gentler, nearer glow. Each breath in gathers the warm light around you. Each breath out lets the weight of the day slide off toward the edges of the room, into the soft dark. Breathing and lamplight move together, unhurried and kind. If the eyes grow heavy, the light is soft enough to meet them halfway. Even with the lids lowered, you can almost feel the glow against them, a faint, rosy warmth that asks for nothing at all. Thoughts can blur here, just like shapes in the outer shadows. The grain of the wood, the curve of the metal tools, The smooth leather covers and the fine threads shimmering in the light all seem to share a single quiet purpose now. They are simply here to be still with you. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be fixed or finished. Time feels slower in this circle of gold. Each second seems to lengthen and soften, like ink spreading very gently through water. You have all the time you need to do absolutely nothing. The lamplight holds its calm, steady place on the desk. It asks for no attention, yet gives out comfort without end. Its glow wraps around you like a cocoon, warm at the center, darker and gentler at the edges. The room beyond continues to fade, becoming more distant, more dreamlike with every quiet breath. Shelves, corners, tools not touched by the light, all relax into a soft, friendly blur. Only this warm circle remains clear and close. Here, where the light pools, everything feels soft, safe and slow. The gentle golden glow is like a promise that nothing will disturb this stillness. You are held in the simple presence of the lamp and its quiet, unwavering light. Breath by breath, the glow seems warmer, deeper, more soothing. The edges of thought grow hazy, like the line where the light meets the shadows. Words thin out, and the silence between them grows more peaceful. In this easy, quiet space, wrapped in the slow tide of lamplight, the mind can drift, and gently fade into the soft, waiting dark beyond words. The quiet of the workshop deepens as the eyes drift away from the workbench and move toward the walls. Along each wall, shelves rise in calm, steady lines. They are filled with books, standing shoulder to shoulder, their spines turned outward like faces softened by time. The air feels slower here, as if every story is breathing in a gentle sleep. Colors gather in low, peaceful tones. Soft browns, worn blues, muted greens, a few rich reds now faded at the edges, and patches of cream and grey where cloth has thinned with many years of touch. Nothing is bright or sharp. Everything is softened, rounded, at ease. The gaze drifts along the rows, spine after spine, a quiet rhythm of shapes and shades. Some stand perfectly straight, some lean ever so slightly into their neighbours, as if the books are resting against one another for support. Close up, the textures begin to speak in their own silent way. Smooth leather, cool and steady beneath the fingertips. Cloth bindings that feel gentle and almost velvety with age. Paper covers that have curled and relaxed, no longer stiff, no longer new, simply calm. Golden letters shimmer faintly here and there on the darker spines. Not a bold shine, just a quiet hint of light, like a candle seen from far away down a hallway. Some of the lettering is crisp and clear. Some has grown soft and pale, rubbed almost to nothing. By hands that once reached for these stories again and again. Tracing the titles with the eyes, one by one, brings a slow, soothing sense of order. Words line up neatly in a gentle row, even when they are faded or half hidden by tiny cracks and scuffs. Each spine holds a name, a promise, a memory of hours spent in another time. The hand lifts, very lightly, to follow the path the eyes have taken. Fingertips meet the edge of a cloth-bound volume, and the faint roughness of the fabric welcomes that gentle touch. The breath moves in and out at an easy pace, matching the unhurried movement along the shelf. Here is a book with a spine the color of stormy blue, its gold title still clear and steady. The cover feels solid, dependable, like a door that has opened and closed for many years, and will open again whenever it is needed. Next to it rests a narrow volume in dusty green, its lettering almost gone, just a suggestion of words where the gold once gleamed. The cloth is worn silky smooth by the repeated slide of fingers lifting it free. Holding it for a moment, even without opening, carries the soft sense of many nights and many readings before. Further along, a group of small books stand tightly pressed together, their spines forming a little patchwork of browns and creams. They look like old friends huddled closer, sharing warmth, sharing secrets, sharing silence. Their pages are thin and delicate, but here on the shelf they rest safely. Nothing asked of them now but to simply be. A larger volume waits alone in its own quiet space, its deep red cloth now gently faded toward rose. At the base of the spine, the corners are softened and rounded. They show the trace of being pulled free and slid back in. Countless times over the years, it feels like a book that has held someone's favorite story, returned to again and again on slow evenings like this one. As the hand moves along the shelf and then falls still, a calm understanding settles in. Every book here has its own history of being opened and closed, of being carried to a chair, to a bed, of falling shut when eyelids grew heavy with sleep. All of those quiet nights are somehow folded into these shelves now. The air in this part of the room seems deeper, softer. It holds a kind of peaceful hush, the hush of many voices that have spoken their stories and are now resting in silence together. Nothing presses forward. Nothing demands attention. The books are simply here, patient and content. Eyes continue to wander slowly over the rows, noticing small details that gently anchor the mind. A tiny tear at the top of one spine. A strip of dark tape that keeps another book whole. A handwritten label, slightly crooked, tucked near the bottom of a tall, thin volume. Each small imperfection feels comforting rather than flawed. These are the marks of being used, being needed, being loved. The shelves do not ask for perfection. They welcome every crease and wrinkle, every faded patch and softened edge. In this warm quiet, time feels different. The past and the present seem to sit side by side, like books on the same shelf. Stories that were once read by candlelight, and stories read under electric lamps late at night, all held together here in gentle companionship. The longer the gaze rests on these spines, the easier it becomes to feel the steady weight of their presence. These books have watched many days and many nights come and go. They have stood through busy seasons and quiet ones, through laughter, through sorrow, through long, ordinary hours. And yet they remain, calm and unmoving, a stable, grounded line of quiet color along the walls. That steadiness begins to seep into the body. Shoulders ease a little more. The jaw softens. The breath drops lower, filling and emptying in slow waves. Just as the shelves support the books, the awareness of these books seems to support the mind, offering a steady place to lean. Another especially worn volume draws attention now. Its spine is almost bare, the title only a shadow. The cloth has thinned so much at the corners that the shape beneath can be just barely felt. Holding it in both hands, even only in imagination, feels like cupping a long, gentle story that has soothed many hearts before. It is easy to imagine someone, years ago, opening this same book on another quiet night, turning its pages slowly, reading until sleep blurred the words. In that way, the room is not empty at all. It is filled with traces of peaceful evenings, layered softly one upon another, like pages in a book. When the hand returns the volume to its place, the shelf seems to welcome it back without a sound. Its neighbours make a little space, and then they stand together again in their familiar row. Everything is as it should be. Nothing is lost. Every story is still here, safely kept. Now the eyes rest, no longer moving along the titles. They settle on the gentle pattern of the shelves themselves, on the simple repeating comfort of line and colour and texture. The mind does not need to remember any particular book or hold on to any specific detail. It can simply float in the feeling of being surrounded by quiet stories that ask for nothing. In this moment, there is no urgency to read, no need to choose, no decisions to be made. The books are perfectly content to remain closed. They are at rest, and they invite the same rest. Everything that needs to be told has already been written, already bound, already placed gently on these shelves. The workshop feels like a safe harbour, and the shelves like calm shores lining its edges. Whatever thoughts may rise are free to drift in and then float away again, like small boats that do not need to dock. The steady presence of these silent stories holds the space quietly, patient and kind. Breath moves in and out, slow and smooth. The stillness of the room and the stillness of the shelves combine into one deep, quiet ease. Here, surrounded by so many resting books, it becomes easier and easier to surrender to rest as well, to let the body grow heavier and the mind grow softer. All around, the spines stand in gentle rows, keeping their silent watch through the night. Each one a small promise that nothing is missing, nothing forgotten, nothing urgent. Only this soft company, only this calm, steady presence, only this quiet, unfolding peace. Settling and settling and settling into silence. The light in the workshop is soft tonight. Not bright enough for work, just enough to brush over the surfaces, to touch each object with a gentle glow, and then fade into the corners. The air is quiet and still. The sounds of the day have gone. Only the steady hush of evening remains, as if the walls themselves are resting, as if the shelves and the cupboards are breathing out a long, slow sigh. At the centre of this calm, the workbench waits. It stretches out in front, wide and familiar, the wood worn smooth where hands have moved for years. Dense and faint stains mark the places where projects once lay, where pages were pressed, where covers were glued. Tonight, all of that movement has come to a stop. Tools rest where they were last placed. Nothing is arranged for display. Nothing is lined up in strict rows. Each tool has simply been set down and left in peace, exactly as it is, exactly where it landed at the end of the day. A favourite handle lies close to the edge of the bench. The wood is dark with age, burnished by thousands of small touches. Running a finger over it, the curve feels smooth and warm, like a river stone that has been turned in the palm again and again. It holds the memory of work, but in this quiet, it offers only comfort. Beside it, a bone folder rests on its side. The shape is gentle, soft curves and rounded edges. Its surface is cool and silky against the skin, with that special smoothness only bone can have, almost like porcelain, but warmer. It could crease a page with a single firm stroke, but tonight it lies still, its weight settled into the wood of the bench. Not far away, a brush has tipped slightly, its handle leaning at a lazy angle. The bristles fan out softly, forming a small, quiet cloud. Touching them, they give just a little, bending with no resistance, like grass under a slow hand. Dry, clean, and at rest, they are no longer brushing away dust or smoothing glue. They are simply being soft. The cool glint of metal appears here and there along the bench. An awl waits near a spool of thread, its sharp point turned slightly away. The handle fits perfectly into a palm, solid and certain, the metal shaft cool when fingers wrap around it, then slowly warming, as if it remembers every careful hole it has ever made in leather and paper. Now it has nothing to pierce, nothing to measure. It is allowed to be quiet. A set of needles lies folded into a small cloth. One has been left out, resting on the fabric like a thin silver line. It is light as a breath, gleaming softly in the half-light, its eye empty, with no thread passing through. For once, no pages pull against it, no signatures ask to be sewn. It simply shines, a slender pause in the rhythm of the bench. A few spools of thread are scattered nearby. One has rolled a little farther away, as if it tried to wander and then stopped, satisfied. The thread wraps around and around, a calm spiral of color. The fibers are strong, made to hold pages together for decades, and yet, at this moment, all that strength is at ease, resting in the gentle tension of its own coil. On a small patch of clear wood, a dish of glue sits waiting. The surface glistens softly in the lamplight, like still water in a shallow pool. If a fingertip hovered just above, the faint scent of paste would rise, familiar and mild, neither sharp nor sweet. The glue is not being brushed across cloth or paper now. It simply exists, thick and calm, catching and releasing the light. Beside the dish, the glue brush lies asleep. Its bristles, stained from many mixtures, have dried in a quiet little fan. The handle bears spots and rings, signs of all the times it has been lifted and set down, dipped and tapped. Tonight it is horizontal, relaxed, no longer hovering over pages, no longer sweeping smooth lines. It has surrendered to gravity, and the bench holds all of its weight. The workbench itself feels like a wide, steady hand holding every tool. It does not ask for more. It does not press for the next task, the next project, the next careful repair. It simply offers a solid, unmoving place where everything can stop. Here, the potential for work is all around. Each object has a purpose. Each tool knows exactly what it is meant to do. Yet in this late, gentle hour, none of them have to do anything at all. The bone folder does not have to crease a single page. The needles do not have to pull through paper or board. The awl does not need to mark a line, or measure a distance, or pierce a neat row of holes. They have been given the night off, and they take it without question. As eyes drift slowly over the bench, the body begins to understand what the tools are showing. Hands that spend the day reaching, grasping, arranging can loosen now. Fingers can soften, releasing any invisible handle they have been holding. Wrists can lie heavy, like tools set down at last. Notice how the shoulders feel, as if they too could rest on this wide, worn surface. Like wooden handles that have carried weight all day, they are allowed to drop a little lower. The space between the shoulder blades can spread, smooth and widen, as if the workbench were supporting that space from underneath, holding it tenderly. Around the eyes and forehead, small muscles can unlock, just a bit at a time. No measuring, no judging, no checking is needed here. This is not a place of deadlines or decisions. It is a place where even the sharpest tool is resting with its point turned gently away. Breath moves in and out, like a very slow hand moving across the bench, passing each tool with quiet approval. With each soft inhale, it is as if the potential of the day gathers for a moment. With each long exhale, that potential is laid down, like a tool being placed back in its familiar spot. safe and still. The room feels held within its own calm. The shelves above the bench stand silent. The work of binding, trimming, folding, sewing waits patiently in the shadows, untouched. Nothing here is urgent. Nothing insists. In this settled half-light, time itself seems to slow. Moments stretch and lengthen, like the long grain of the wooden bench. There is no need to remember what has been done, or to plan what must be done next. The tools are off duty, and in their quiet company, everything human can be off duty too. Feel how natural this rest is. Just as the brush needs a place to lie flat, so does the mind. Just as the bone folder needs a pause between pages, so does the breath. Just as the thread needs a moment, rolled and still upon its spool, so does the body. The workshop accepts this pause completely. Nothing in it resists the stillness. Every object understands how importancy. It is simply to wait, to be ready but unrushed, to be full of purpose and yet utterly at ease. That same understanding begins to settle more deeply now. Somewhere in the quiet, a soft sense of weight spreads through arms and legs. Not heaviness in a troubling way, but a pleasant, grounding weight, like a tool resting exactly where it belongs. Every part of the body can imagine itself placed carefully on that bench, supported on a smooth, familiar surface, safe and unmoving. The favorite handle, the curved bone folder, the dish of glistening glue, the brush, the awl, the needles, the spools of thread. They all rest together, side by side, with no effort at all. Nothing separates their calm from the calm that is growing here. Everything blends into one quiet, steady feeling of being allowed to stop. In this gentle stillness, the bench, the tools, and the soft light all seem to whisper the same simple message. Nothing more is needed. Nothing more is asked. Only this easy, quiet resting, continuing on. In the deep, unhurried hush of the night, the workshop is very quiet now. Soft light rests on the bench. The gentle smell of paper and glue hangs in the warm air. Everything feels unhurried, as if time itself is moving a little more slowly here. On the workbench, among all the tools and bits of thread, one book is waiting. It sits a little off to one side, not asking for attention, just resting. Its spine is curved from years of being opened and closed. Its cover is a little frayed at the corners, softened by many hands. For a moment, nothing needs to happen. Just noticing that tired old book is enough. It seems to breathe quietly in the stillness, like something that has seen a lot, and no longer needs to prove anything. It is simply here, worn and peaceful. Hands move toward it in an easy, unhurried way. Fingers slide underneath the edge, and the book is gently lifted from the bench. The weight settles into the palms, heavier than it first appeared, steady and sure. It feels solid, real, and somehow comforting. The cover is soft where the fabric has thinned. Under the fingertips, small threads and little rough places tell the story of how often it has been held. The edges are smooth from years of touch, like a stone worn round by water. Every warm place is a quiet memory of being used, being loved. The book rests easily in both hands now. Arms relax, elbows soft, shoulders gently letting go. There is no need to grip or hold tightly. The book fits naturally into the curve of the hands, as if it has always belonged there. When the thumbs brush along the spine, it gives just a little. Not fragile in a worrying way, but tender, like something that needs a gentle approach. The cover bends with a slow, careful movement. It feels like a small bow of trust. The faint rustle of loose pages inside answers that movement. A soft shiver of paper whispering against paper. The sound is quiet, almost shy, settling back into stillness as soon as the hands become still again. Each rustle is like a soft sigh, a little exhale of relief. Breath follows that same rhythm. In, slow and easy. Out, even slower. Like air gently leaving a bellows in the corner of the room. The chest loosens and the heart rate eases. In time, with the gentle shift and settle of the pages, the fingertips explore without hurry. A thumb traces a small crease on the cover, where it must have been opened many times to the same place. Near the corners, the fabric has curled slightly, soft as worn cloth, almost velvety from use. These tiny details bring a sense of quiet affection, a natural wish to care for this tired object. Holding the book, a feeling of protectiveness arises. It is not new, not perfect. The spine leans a little to one side. The edges are not sharp or straight. Yet, in all its unevenness, it feels deeply worthy of gentle handling, of rest and support. The hands shift the book, cradling it a little closer to the body. Forearms draw in, making a safe, warm space between chest and hands. The book rests there, as if being held the way someone might hold a sleepy animal, or a small bundle of letters tied with string. Everything in the posture says, "You are safe here." Again, the pages murmur softly as they move. Just a small adjustment, and they slide against each other with a quiet, fluttering sound. Then they settle, the noise fading into stillness, like leaves coming to rest after a breeze. The air around the book feels calmer, as if the whole workshop is leaning in to listen to the hush. Noticing the weight again, it no longer feels heavy. Instead, it feels grounding, like a steady, familiar presence in the hands. The wrists are loose, fingers relaxed, letting the book rest in its own way. There is nothing to fix, nothing to improve. If there are tiny tears at the edge of some pages, they are simply part of the story. If the spine creaks a little when it moves, that sound is only time speaking softly. Every mark, every fold, every softened place is a sign of having lived, of having been opened and enjoyed. Nothing about it needs to be hidden. As this recognition settles in, a gentle warmth spreads through the chest. The wish to care for the book becomes tender and quiet. Not urgent, not intense, just a soft promise of kindness. A sense that it deserves ease and rest and patient hands. In this moment, the book and the one holding it are very much alike. Both have their own worn places, their own soft corners and tired edges. Both have carried weight and been opened and closed many times. Both are allowed to be exactly as they are. There is no need to be new here. No need to be flawless or polished or perfectly straight. The workshop welcomes the creased and the faded, the loosened and the tired. Every sign of use is a quiet proof of having made it this far. As this understanding sinks in, the muscles around the neck release a little more. The jaw softens, lips resting gently together. The shoulders drift down, as if someone has carefully removed a stack of unseen books from them. The whole upper body eases into a more natural, more restful shape. The book is held with that same easy acceptance. Not clutched, not squeezed, just supported. Hands offer a soft, steady base, like a cushion or a lap. The book can lean, relax, and be still. Each breath now feels like a slow page turning. Inhale, a page lifting. Exhale, that page settling back down, smooth and quiet. Nothing forced, nothing rushed. The small sounds of the workshop fade into the background. Somewhere, a faint creak of wood, a distant ticking, a soft hum in the walls. Everything blends into a low, steady hush. The book rests, and so does the one who holds it. It becomes clear that no effort is needed to earn this rest. Just as the book doesn't have to be repaired tonight, no one is asking for anything more. The only task is to be here, in these gentle hands, in this gentle air, to be tired and to be allowed to be tired. A sense of compassion grows, quiet and deep. Compassion for the frayed fabric, the uneven edges, the sag in the spine. Compassion for all the nights that have led to this one, all the work and worry that soften into stillness now. It feels like placing a warm blanket over something that has been standing for too long. The book nestles more securely into the palms. Thumbs lie lightly along the edges, not moving, just resting. The arms find a comfortable place, supported by the body, by the bench, by the surrounding calm. Nothing needs to be held up alone. Breath flows in, slow and smooth. Breath flows out even slower, carrying away the last bits of strain. The chest and the covers of the book rise and fall together in a shared, small rhythm. Both are simply breathing, simply existing, quietly side by side. In this soft, unhurried space, being worn is not a problem. It is a sign of having been open, of having been part of many stories. A gentle knowing settles in. That rest is not a reward, but a natural part of the story too. The book has earned it. So has the one who holds it. The workshop feels very calm now. The tired old book lies easy in gentle hands. Warmth, weight, and stillness blend together, like a quiet cradle made of breath and time. Everything is ready to loosen, to soften, to drift into peaceful silence. The room is quiet and steady around you now, like a soft shell of calm. The air is gentle and still, carrying only the faintest scent of paper and glue, warm and comforting, like a memory that never rushes you. Somewhere close by, the book rests on the work table. Its cover has settled, its weight easy and familiar under resting hands. Time feels slower here, stretched out and unhurried, as if the night itself has decided to take a long, peaceful breath. Fingers rest along the edge of the pages, feeling their slight unevenness, the delicate steps of a tiny staircase of paper. Each sheet is thin, almost weightless, yet together they form something solid and sure. The quiet promise of movement is tucked into that stack of pages, waiting. Now a single page is chosen. The fingertip slides gently underneath its edge, just enough to find that first small lift. The paper responds with a faint, dry whisper, almost too soft to hear, as its corner rises away from the one beneath it. The motion is slow, unhurried, careful. The page bends just a little as it lifts, a curved shape filled with air and possibility. You can sense the soft crinkle of its fibers shifting, a fragile sound, like distant footsteps on a wooden floor. As the page arches upward, it carries the quiet with it. The sound is not sharp or loud, but a shallow, soothing rustle, as if the book itself is breathing out. Every millimeter of movement has its own tiny voice, delicate and reassuring. The hand pauses for a moment with the page held halfway, suspended in a gentle curve. There is a peaceful stillness in that pause, a brief moment between what has passed and what is coming next. Time rests there too, patient and kind. Then the page begins to move again, drifting slowly across the spine. The fibers murmur softly as they slide against each other, a faint brushing sound, rhythmic and even. This is not a sound that asks for attention. It simply exists, like a small river flowing calmly in the dark. As the page comes down on the other side, it releases one last tender whisper. The air beneath it sighs out, and the sheet settles into place with a barely there tap against the page below. Everything grows quiet again, as if the room is nodding in agreement. Another breath passes, steady and deep. The hand returns to the edge of the book, finding the next page waiting. Each sheet seems to hold its own calm identity, yet they all move in the same slow rhythm. Again, fingertips slip under the edge of a single page. The page rises, one soft corner at a time. The familiar sound comes back, that light rustling like fabric brushed by a gentle hand. It feels safe, predictable, like a lullaby you have known for years. The page bends, forming a smooth, pale curve. It moves so slowly that the air has time to adjust around it, gliding along with no rush at all. In this pace, every tiny sound is easy to notice, and each one is soothing. As the paper arcs over and begins to fall, the quiet deepens. There is a soft, sliding hush as it comes down, connecting lightly with the rest of the book. It lies flat once more, as if it has always belonged there. This pattern continues, gentle and sure. Lift, a faint crinkle, pause, a breath of stillness, turn, a small, steady rustle, settle, a whisper that fades into silence. With each turn, the body responds without needing to be told. The breath naturally finds the same rhythm. Inhale as the page rises, exhale as it drifts down and rests. Over and over, the movement and the breath quietly match each other. Tension has less room to stay in a place like this. With each soft lift of paper, something inside loosens a little more. Like dust shaken gently from a rug, worries fall away in slow, drifting pieces, too light to matter. The fingertips know the weight of the pages now. They do not have to search for the edge. They simply find it, lift it, carry it across. The mind can rest because the hands remember every step. Page after page, the sounds blend into a simple, repeating song. No lyrics, no melody, just the soft percussion of paper. A tiny hiss as it rises, a brushed murmur as it travels, a delicate sigh as it lands. The night outside feels far away. Only this small circle of motion and sound remains. The table, the book, the hands, and the gentle rustle. Everything else can drift to the edges and fall quiet. The more the pages turn, the lighter the thoughts become. They do not cling or press in. They slide away like loose sheets of paper on a soft breeze, drifting out of reach, settling somewhere you no longer need to look. Each turn marks a little release. Another layer of tightness softens. The forehead smooths, the jaw loosens, the shoulders drop, heavy and secure, as if gravity has become kinder and more supportive. You might imagine the stack of pages already turned, resting beneath the left hand. They feel slightly thicker now, a patient pile of calm moments gathered together. Each one carries the memory of that same quiet sound, the same slow movement, the same brief pause. And still, the pattern continues. Lift, crinkle, glide, settle. Lift, crinkle, glide, settle. A sleepy rhythm, repeating and repeating, like waves that never rush and never surprise. After a while, the individual sounds blur gently into one impression of softness. You know they are there, but you no longer need to follow each one. They become part of the background comfort, like a familiar voice humming in another room. The book seems to grow warmer beneath the hands, sharing its simple, steady presence. It does not ask for anything. It only offers this gentle, predictable motion, over and over, like a hand rocking a cradle at the same slow pace. Soon, even the thought of turning the page is enough to soothe. You can almost hear that faint initial crinkle before it happens, and that soft last whisper as it lands. The mind rests in the middle of those two sounds, cradled in the space between beginning and ending. Every new page feels a little softer than the one before, as if the book itself is growing sleepier with you. The rustling grows slower, the pauses grow longer, and the silence between each turn spreads comfortably outward, like a blanket being drawn up to the chin. Breath moves quietly in this silence. In, with the lift. Out, with the fall. The heart follows the same quiet pattern, steady and unbothered, like footsteps along a path you know too well to ever lose. The room is wrapped in this small music now, the music of turning pages. It creates a gentle cocoon of sound, thin as silk, strong as trust. Every tiny rustle says the same thing in its own way. It is all right to rest. It is all right to let go. One more page is lifted, slow and easy. The softest crinkle, the calm arc through the air, the faint, comfortable sigh as it meets the others and goes still. Then quiet settles again, deeper this time, like paper lying perfectly flat. The hands can pause here, resting where they are, feeling the steady comfort of the closed or half-open book. Nothing needs to move right now. The night waits patiently around this stillness. The last echo of the page's whisper fades into the warm, hushed air. Thoughts thin out, float apart, and drift down, like loose pages, finally coming to rest in a safe, silent pile. The night has deepened outside the workshop. The air feels quieter, slower, as if everything beyond these walls is taking a long, gentle breath. The soft glow of the lamp rests over the workbench, pooling in warm light. Shadows lean calmly along the shelves, around the stacks of books, around the tools that now lie still. Everything inside feels settled and at ease. From somewhere in the dark outside, a faint change begins. At first, it is almost nothing, just a small sound at the edge of awareness. A tiny tap, then another, and then a few more, scattered and light. Rain is starting. One fine drop touches the window, a small, crisp note against the glass. Then another, a little further along, like a few shy fingers brushing the panes. The sound gathers slowly. Soft taps become a gentle patter, uneven at first, almost curious. It comes and goes, like a quiet conversation between the clouds and the roof above. The workshop, wrapped in wood and stone, listens calmly. The rain finds the small window beside the workbench. Tiny impacts mark the glass, each droplet with its own delicate touch. Some land with a quick, bright tap. Others slide down at once, leaving thin, wandering paths along the pane. The lamplight glows against the window, meeting the cool darkness outside. On the surface of the glass, the reflections soften and move. The warm light trembles gently where the raindrops fall, as if the night is breathing on the window. Inside, the air stays dry and still, quiet and kind. Now the rain grows a little steadier. More droplets gather on the glass, weaving a soft, steady rhythm. It is not loud, just a constant, comforting murmur, like a whispered lullaby against the wall. Each drop that lands on the window seems to know its path. Some cling to the glass for a moment, round and clear, catching the faint shimmer of the lamp. Then they begin to move very slowly, drawn down by gravity in calm, meandering lines. Two paths meet, join, and trickle together, moving even more slowly now. The workbench, the books, the tools, all stay as they were. A closed volume rests nearby, its cover smooth under a light touch. The faint smell of paper and leather is still in the air, warm and familiar. Nothing presses for attention. Nothing needs to be done. Outside, the world is turning cool and wet. Streets and rooftops are taking on a soft shine. But that world feels far away, beyond the steady walls and the wooden frame of the window. Here, in this small, lamplit space, everything is sheltered. Notice the gentle contrast. Out there, the rain falls from the wide, open sky, touching stone and roof and road. Drops bounce and scatter on cold surfaces, gather in tiny pools, follow the edges of gutters and tiles. In here, the only sign of it is the soft patter at the panes, the slow trails of water on the glass. The rain settles into a rhythm now. Not a straight, even pattern, but something more natural and slow. A few quick taps, then a pause. A hush, then a soft, rolling whisper as a small wave of drops passes over the roof and down across the window. The lamp keeps casting its warm circle. Paper on the bench looks creamy and calm in that light. A pair of scissors rests where it was left, metal dulled now by shadow and quiet. Everything seems to lean gently into the stillness. You might feel the comfort of being inside very clearly now. The sense of walls around you, strong and protective. The roof holding firm against the weather. The windows standing between the cool, wet night and the warm, peaceful air. Each new droplet that taps the glass reminds the body that it is dry and safe and warm. Cool darkness on one side, soft, steady warmth on the other. The difference is soothing, like a blanket drawn a little closer around tired shoulders. The sound of the rain begins to fold into the background. At first, it was something to notice, to follow. Now it becomes a gentle, constant presence, like the soft hum of distant conversation in another room. It wraps around the edges of the quiet, filling the silence with ease instead of emptiness. Sometimes a heavier drop falls, leaving a slower, thicker line along the glass. It drifts down the pane, unhurried, meeting other lines, joining them. For a moment, the reflection of the lamp shimmers in that path, then softens, then smooths out again. The night outside blurs a little more, becoming just darkness and gentle motion. Inside, the wooden floor feels solid and familiar. The shelves along the wall stand peaceful and patient, holding their rows of books and paper and thread. The air holds a trace of warmth from the lamp and from the work done earlier in the evening. Now that work is finished. Now this is a place only for resting. The body can let go here as the rain continues its quiet song. Nothing needs to be changed or fixed or remembered. The weather will tend to itself. The workshop will hold its calm, slow breath for as long as needed. Listen to how the sound of the rain evens out even more. Its edges grow softer, its rhythm more regular. The mind doesn't need to follow every drop anymore. It can simply float on the gentle, distant hush. The window, once a clear barrier between inside and out, is now lightly veiled. Water has traced delicate paths over almost every part of the glass. The outside view fades into a soft blur, shapes melted into darkness and movement. The only thing that matters now is the feeling of being on the warm side of the glass, protected and at ease. The lamplight glows steadily, though it seems a little quieter too. Shadows have grown thicker at the edges of the room, but they are friendly shadows, soft and familiar. They hold no secrets, no demands, only rest. Breath can slow here, matching the easy pace of the rain. Inhale gently, like drawing in the gentle warmth of the room. Exhale slowly, like letting thoughts drift away toward the wet, dark streets outside, where they can dissolve and wash away. Inside, what remains is only comfort and quiet. From time to time, a tiny series of faster taps marks a little burst of rain on the glass. Then the sound smooths out again, becoming a steady, silky whisper. This small rise and fall feels natural, like the rise and fall of a calm tide. Softly coming closer, softly moving away. The sense of shelter deepens. These walls have stood through many nights like this, many rains, many winters and springs. They know how to hold the warmth close. They know how to let the sounds of the outside world stay gentle and far away. Now the rain is no longer something separate. It has become part of the night itself, part of the quiet here. It fills in the empty spaces between heartbeats and thoughts, smoothing the edges of the mind. Like soft static at the edges of a dream, it blurs sharp lines and leaves only calm. The workshop rests in its own small pool of light, a tiny island of warmth in the cool, dark sea of the rainy night. The lamp, the books, the tools, the wooden shelves, the familiar scents, all of it cradled by the sound of falling water outside. You are held within all of this, gently, securely, with nothing at all to do. Let the rain stay where it is now, distant and kind. A quiet curtain drawn around this place. Let the sense of being safe inside grow a little warmer, a little heavier, like a soft blanket settling over every thought. The world can be outside, cool and wet and far away. In here there is only warmth, only stillness, only the soft murmur of midnight rain on the window, fading slowly into the background, until it is almost part of silence itself. The room is very quiet now. The lamps are low and warm, and the workbench holds only a few simple things. A small packet, a soft brush, a resting book. The air itself seems to slow. Every movement becomes smaller, gentler. Breath eases in and out, easy and unhurried, as if it too wishes not to disturb the stillness. On the bench, the little packet waits. It is thin and light, no heavier than a folded letter. Paper against paper, edges soft from careful hands. It holds something bright, but for now, it rests in secrecy and calm. Fingers move toward it with quiet care. The tips feel cool against the smooth surface of the packet. Nothing is rushed. The paper is lifted, drawn a little closer into the circle of lamplight. The first fold opens with a faint, dry murmur. A tiny whisper of paper on paper, gone almost as soon as it begins. Another edge loosens, then another, each folded corner slowly released. The space between each motion stretches out, making room for calm. Inside, something catches the warm light. A hint of color, like soft sunlight held in a thin, trembling veil. The packet opens fully, and the gold is there. A sheet so fragile that even the idea of a breath might move it. Its surface shimmers in the lamplight, not sharp, not harsh, just a muted glow. It looks almost weightless, as though it might float away if the room dared to stir. The gold leaf lies on its paper cradle, edges wavering with the slightest movement of air. Silence gathers closer around it, a shared hush, Hands become slower still. Every finger, every joint, seems to understand how delicate this moment is. The body softens, shoulders easing, jaw loosening, eyes moving lazily over the shining sheet. The gold does not need to be touched yet. It is enough for a long breath, just to look and to be still. The book that waits nearby has a clean, smooth spine. Its surface is quiet, a gentle promise beneath the lamplight. The title space is empty, prepared earlier with patient hands. It is ready, but like everything else in this room, it does not hurry. A small, soft pad, barely more than a cushion of cotton, waits to help guide the fragile leaf. Fingers rest on it for a moment, feeling its give, its softness, like a tiny cloud under the hand. The cotton carries no weight of its own. It is simply a way to hold the gold without pressing, without forcing. The feeling invites the mind to match it, lighter, softer, unburdened. Breath deepens, then slows. The gold leaf trembles just slightly on its backing paper, as though it can feel the rhythm in the air. Its surface shifts with each tiny movement, breaking the light into thin, delicate ripples. Every ripple feels like a quiet golden sigh. Carefully now, the sheet is nudged closer to the book. One edge lifts, thin as a thought. The gold clings to the air for a second, then slowly, shyly, begins to hover toward the waiting spine. No sudden motion, just a tender drifting. The cotton pad comes close to the back of the leaf, not quite touching at first. There is a sense of meeting from a distance, of respect for something so easily disturbed. Then, with the smallest encouragement, the gold settles against the pad, loose and floating. It folds and shifts like a little cloud of light. The journey from packet to book feels almost ceremonial. The hand moves with quiet purpose, guiding the glowing sheet toward the prepared surface. Every tiny shiver in the gold is seen and honored, not resisted. The world outside the bench falls away. Only this gentle path of light and touch remains. The gold approaches the spine. The book waits easily, its stillness offering a place to land. The prepared strip along the spine seems to draw the glow toward it, inviting, patient. The air between them narrows until there is hardly any space at all. The first contact is hardly a touch. The edge of the leaf brushes the spine like a breath, like a whisper passing over skin. Gold and book meet with almost no sound, only a soft, imagined sigh between them. For a heartbeat, both seem to hover together, not quite joined, not quite separate. Then the hand eases the rest of the sheet down. The leaf unfurls in slow motion, folding itself over the surface, following every tiny curve. Wrinkles drift and soften, small waves smoothing out as the cotton pad glides gently over top. Each stroke is feather light, a caress more than a press. Bits of extra gold cling at the edges, thin as spider silk. They shimmer and flutter, then fall aside to rest on the paper below. Nothing is wasted. All of it is part of this quiet, gleaming moment. The main sheet settles, anchored now by the soft embrace of the spine beneath it. The hand pauses. Gold against book, cotton against gold, lamp against shadow. Everything holds still. Breath flows slowly in and slowly out, matching the calm. The bright metal no longer shakes or shivers. It lies quiet, adjusting to its new home. With a few more tender strokes, the surface is coaxed into place. The pad slides from top to bottom, then bottom to top, each pass a little slower than the last. Any loose edges are guided down, their reluctance soothed by patience. The gold begins to look less like a leaf, and more like a part of the book itself. Tiny, delicate fragments fall away under the soft brushing. They drift down like golden dust, catching the lamplight for a brief, gentle moment before settling. What remains on the spine is clear, steady, and calm. It gleams quietly, not shouting for attention, only offering a soft, steady glow. The title, once an empty space, now holds this quiet light. Letters or lines appear, shaped by the edges of the leaf, thin and precise. They seem to float just above the surface, yet they are firmly in place, joined to the book in a subtle bond. The gold now belongs here. The cotton pad relaxes back onto the bench. Fingers loosen, resting beside it for a moment. The small packet of gold, now a little emptier, folds back onto itself, its paper making a faint, contented rustle. It, too, is set aside with care. The room feels even softer than before. The task is not a task anymore. It has become a quiet ritual, a slow breathing of light into rest. The book lies peacefully on the bench, spine turned slightly toward the lamp. The gold along its edge glows with a low, steady warmth, calm and sure. Around it, the scattered flecks of leaf seem like fallen stars that no one needs to gather up just yet. They can rest where they are, sharing their tiny glimmers with the smooth wood of the table. Nothing in this space asks for more than stillness. Everything seems satisfied, complete, and deeply quiet. The eyes linger on the finished spine, tracing the soft reflections as they shift with even the smallest change in angle. The glow is no longer bright and sharp. It has softened, grown gentle, like a candle after its first flare. It feels less like decoration now, and more like a calm presence, steady and reassuring. Breath settles to match that quiet shine. In and out, slow and easy, steady as the lamplight, steady as the resting book. Muscles release another layer of tension, as if melting a little deeper into the softness of the moment. Thoughts grow quieter, like gold dust sinking through still water. The gold that once fluttered at the slightest hint of air is no longer fragile in the same way. Joined to the book, it has found a place to rest. Its brightness has eased into a gentle, lasting glow that does not need to prove anything. It simply exists, calm and sure on the waiting shelf of time. Here, in this soft pool of light, book and gold share the same stillness. The bench, the lamp, the scattered flecks, the folded papers, all of it breathes the same slow, easy rhythm. The night outside feels far away, softened by distance and by walls that hold this quiet safe. Nothing else needs to happen. The work is complete, and the room understands. Hands grow still, eyes half close, and the golden spine rests, shining softly into the warm, hushed air. A quiet glow, settling deeper and deeper into the gentle silence. The workshop is very quiet now. Only the soft hush of the room and the slow comfort of your own breathing. On the table in front of you, the finished books rest in a loose scatter. Here and there, a cover overlaps another. Some are leaning, some turned slightly to the side. All of them waiting, calm and patient, ready to be gathered. The lamplight above is gentle and steady, throwing a warm circle across the table. Edges, corners, and spines are easy to see and easy to reach. Everything feels close at hand. Nothing is hurried. Your hands move slowly over the surface, fingertips brushing against smooth covers and faint textured grain. You feel the quiet pride of work that is done. Each volume is complete. Each one has its own weight, its own calm presence. You decide to bring them together, to make a single, tidy stack, a simple, steady ritual of order. One book at a time. Your hand drifts to the first volume. You slide your fingers beneath the edge, lifting just enough to feel its weight leave the table. The motion is easy and unforced, the muscles of your hand moving in a slow, familiar pattern. Lift, place, align, pause, breathe. You set this first book down where the stack will grow. Right in front of you, at the center of the work surface. The cover meets the table with a quiet, padded thump, soft and sure. It feels like the first stone of a small, steady foundation. Your palms smooth gently over the cover, front to back. You nudge it so the edges line up square with the table. Corners match the grain of the wood beneath it, neat and straight. You let your hands rest there for a moment, feeling how still it is. A slow breath moves in and out. As the air leaves your lungs, some small knot of thought seems to loosen. The room feels a little wider, a little more open. The first book waits, calm and centered. Your fingers move to the second book. Its surface feels slightly different, perhaps a little cooler, or a shade more textured. You curl your hand around the spine, lift, and feel the gentle pull of gravity as it rises. Again, that quiet rhythm. Lift, place, align, pause, breathe. You lower it carefully onto the first. The covers meet with a soft, cushioned sound, a muted thump that melts into the stillness around you. The small stack is 2 books high now, a little more solid, a little more present. You guide the corners until they sit exactly above the ones below. Your thumb slides along the edges, feeling the tiny steps where the pages end. The weight has increased, but the feeling is still light and manageable. You take a breath in. Notice how the chest expands gently, then relaxes again. With each exhale, your body seems to sink a little deeper into ease. Now you reach for a third volume. It rests slightly farther away, so your arm extends, slow and unhurried. Your sleeve brushes the table, making the faintest whisper of sound. Fingers close around the book, cradling it with quiet care. You lift, and as you do, your attention follows the motion. Everything else can drift to the edges of awareness. Just this simple act remains. The book rises, light in your hands, and floats back toward the growing stack. You place it down on top, and again, there is that soft, secure thump. A small, pleasant sound of contact, like a gentle punctuation mark in the silence. The stack tightens under your palms as you press lightly, evening it out. 3 layers now, forming a low, steady column of finished work. You adjust the edges, sliding the top book just a millimeter to the side. Everything lines up, straight, calm, and sure. Your breath moves in time with the motion, slow and rhythmic. Around you, the rest of the room fades into a quiet background. Shelves, tools, and bindings wait silently. In this small circle of light, your world has narrowed to books, hands, and breath. Gathering, placing, and smoothing again and again. You reach for another volume, then another. Each time, your hand knows exactly what to do. Lift, feel the weight, bring it close. Place it on the stack. Listen for that gentle thump. With each new book, the stack grows a little taller. The weight becomes more noticeable, more grounding. It presses down into the table and through the table into the floor, steady and reassuring. A quiet, solid presence building right under your fingertips. Your thoughts, which might have been scattered before, begin to follow the same pattern. They gather one by one, just like these finished volumes. You notice them gently, then set them down in a calm, orderly pile inside your mind. Stacked thoughts, settled and still. Another book. Your hand finds the spine by touch alone. No need to rush, no need to search. You feel the slight tug as you lift, the slight release as you set it down on the others. The sound is the same each time, yet it never loses its small, comforting pleasure. Lift, place, align, pause, breathe. The words are unspoken, yet they move quietly through your body. They mark the rhythm of what you are doing, like a soft mantra. Nothing forced, nothing sharp, just a steady flow of motion and rest. The stack has a clear shape now. Its sides are smooth and even, a column of covers and pages pressed gently together. You notice the way the edges form straight lines, one above the other. It looks and feels assured and complete. You rest both hands on top of the pile. The surface is firm under your palms, but there is a faint give as the pages yield, just a little to your touch. You can sense all the layers beneath, each book adding to the weight, each book contributing to the whole. The feeling is deeply settling, as if the stack is quietly anchoring you. Inwardly, a similar structure seems to appear. Moments from the day, thoughts and feelings, are no longer loose and drifting. They have been gathered with the same patience, placed one upon another, gently aligned, until they rest in a calm, organized stillness. You look at the remaining books spread across the table. Just a few now, waiting to join the others. Your hand moves without hurry to the next one. The same simple care, the same ease in each motion. You lift. You place it on the stack, feeling the column accept a little more weight. You nudge the corners in, smoothing the edges until they match. A deeper breath follows, as if your body responds to the sense of completion. Another book comes to your hand, and then another. Each addition makes the pile a bit taller, a bit more substantial. The stack feels like a quiet monument to finished effort, to things done and gently put away. Nothing more is required of them now. As the last loose volume on the table comes into your grasp, you notice how natural this all feels. The coolness of the cover, the familiar tug of gravity as you lift, the soft, embracing sound as it meets the rest of the stack. You align it with a light, practiced touch. Your thumbs trace the top edges one final time, smoothing away any small unevenness. The pile now stands complete, calm, and perfectly at rest. A tidy tower of pages and bindings, strong and quiet. Your hands settle on top once more, warm skin against the cool cover. You let your shoulders soften, your jaw relax. The breath comes slow, deepening with each cycle. Inside, everything feels a little more arranged, a little more at peace. All the books are together now. Nothing is scattered, nothing is waiting to be finished. The stack sits before you, a stable presence in the gentle hush of the workshop. A foundation of order and calm beneath the soft drift of your thoughts. You allow your awareness to rest on that simple image. Layer upon layer, still and secure. Weight pressing down into the table, holding everything steady. A quiet pillar of completion in a room that is ready for sleep. The air is warm, the light is soft, and the work is done. Your mind can lean against that steady stack, the way your hands do, supported, grounded, and at ease. And as the silence spreads out gently around you, everything within slowly settles and settles and settles. The workshop is quiet now. Everything has grown soft and still. The little lamp casts a gentle glow over the workbench, and the edges of the room feel blurred and distant. The day has folded itself away, like a sheet of clean paper, slipped back into its place. Only calm remains, only warmth and rest. Shelves of books stand in easy silence all around. Their spines lean together like old friends, comfortable and unhurried. Each one is closed, breathing in slow, peaceful time. The tools have gone to sleep on the table. The bone folder rests where it was last set down. The needles lie quiet, the threads curled in soft, loose loops. The scissors are closed, their metal cool and still. Everything that once clicked and tapped and rustled has grown gentle now. Nothing asks for effort. Nothing needs to be finished. The work has paused in the safest place of all, in the middle, where nothing is demanded and everything can wait. Here, time itself loosens its grip. Minutes drift by like tiny shavings of paper, weightless and slow. You are surrounded by good, unhurried things. If you feel into the space around you, you can sense the quiet shape of the shelves. Row after row of sleeping pages. Stories, memories, blank books that have not yet been written. All of them resting, all of them safe, all of them content to simply be. The faintest trace of paper and paste lingers in the air. It is a gentle, familiar scent. Honest and simple, like a favorite room that has always been kind to you. The air feels soft, easy to breathe, easy to settle into. Somewhere nearby, a single page may shift a little as the cooling air moves, a tiny, almost sound. Barely there at all, just enough to remind you that this place is real in its own quiet way. In this moment, there is nothing to solve, nothing to decide, nothing to change. All that is asked of you is to rest, like the books resting on their shelves. The bindings are closed, but not locked. Their threads hold gently, not tightly. Covers sit together, perfectly aligned, as if they too are breathing slow and deep. Everything here knows how to wait, how to pause without worry. You are allowed to do the same. Thoughts may come and go like soft page turns in the distance. One idea, then another, then a space of quiet between them. No need to follow, no need to hold on. They can drift past, and you can stay right here. If today has been loud, this room is your hush. If your mind has been busy, these shelves are your stillness. If your body has been moving and moving, the worn wooden floor offers a place to simply stop, to simply be. Imagine the gentle weight of a closed book resting in open hands. The cover is smooth under your fingers. You feel the calm strength of the spine, the steady stack of pages pressed softly together. Nothing inside is rushing to be read. Every word is willing to wait for another time. In the same way, every part of you is permitted to wait, to do nothing, to float in this little harbor of quiet. The tools on the bench are like small guardians of rest. They have done their work, and now they lie in peaceful disorder. A ruler at a slight angle, a brush with its bristles relaxed, bits of thread that caught the last of the light before the lamp dimmed. All of them are content to remain exactly where they are until morning, or the next day, or whenever hands return. They have no hurry at all. Here, you are under no clock, under no schedule. Night has opened its soft, dark pages all around this workshop. You are held gently between them, like a pressed flower in a beloved book. If you wish, you can imagine finding a small place on one of the shelves, a cozy, empty space between two old volumes, just wide enough to hold you in thought. Nothing tight, nothing crowded, just enough room to lean back and let your own weight be carried. On one side, A leather spine that has known many years, smooth and warm. On the other, a cloth cover cool and calm to the touch. They stand beside you like quiet companions. They ask nothing of you. They simply share their rest. Above, more books watch over in their slumber. Below, more volumes sleep in the gentle dark. You are layered in comfort, wrapped in stories you do not need to open. It is enough that they are here. Whenever you wish, you can return to this place. All it takes is a breath, a soft inward turning, and the shelves will appear again in your mind. The lamp, the table, the faint scent of paper, always waiting, always just as calm as you remember. This workshop does not close its door to you. It does not fade when you are far away. Somewhere inside you, the books remain on their quiet watch. The tools remain at rest. The room stays softly lit, eternally evening, eternally gentle. On nights when thoughts feel tangled, you can come back here and let them unwind, one by one, like threads from a spool. On days when everything felt a little too sharp, you can return to these rounded corners, these slow, steady lines. The memory of this room will meet you every time, like an old friend offering a chair, a blanket, a long, silent exhale. Nothing here depends on doing it right. There is no right way to rest among these quiet books. You might feel sleep begin to approach, soft-footed and calm. You might simply feel stillness, a gentle pause inside. Both are welcome. The night does not hurry you. The shelves do not hurry you. This place will hold its shape whether your eyes are open or closed, whether you drift into dreams or linger at the edge of them. So you can let your body grow heavier, if that feels kind. Let the muscles that have been working all day soften, like loosened bindings. Let the breath come and go at its own easy rhythm, like a slow page turning itself. Each quiet inhale gathers the safety of this room. Each easy exhale sets down anything you no longer need to carry. Again and again and again without effort. The books rest, the tools rest, the air itself rests. You are allowed to join them, to sink gently into the same deep, simple peace that holds everything here. If sleep comes, it can come like the final closing of a book cover at the end of a long, tender day, soft, sure, without a sound. If it does not come just yet, that is all right too. You are already where you need to be, cradled in quiet, wrapped in the hush of worn pages and patient shelves. For as long as you wish, you may remain here. No one will disturb you. Nothing will change. The room will keep breathing in its slow, steady way. And whenever you are ready, now or later, or some far-off night, this calm will be here waiting, like a book on a familiar shelf, always ready to open into rest, and always willing to close again around your dreams, just resting, just breathing, among quiet books, drifting gently into your own kind of silence.